Hello everybody and welcome into the air again. This is Plasma 1945 taxiing here at the Growling Sidewinder PvP server. Now the reason I'm taxiing here in my Su-27 is because I saw this video where a certain famous YouTuber, of course, do not step on the snake, was swatting Su-27s in his F-18. Well, what happened very interestingly is I went for one flight, one mission. This was my first mission of the day, and I just swatted 4 Hornets in a row, plus an F-15 for dessert. So let's check this out and show you how exactly an Su-27 is a superiority fighter in the right hands, and the F-18s have no chance whatsoever when you've got a pilot with a little bit of experience who knows what he or she is doing and is able to put the bandits to shame. So we've got takeoff from Tbilisi and picking up altitude here as we head to the west. Of course, the most important thing is to keep an eye on data link and be aware of what's happening. Having airborne radar is crucial. This video is shot in a single uninterrupted fashion, and what I did do is I did a replay on the video to get the external footage and views, just so to make this a little bit interesting, but it is fully synchronized and there are no transitions, just so that you don't get bored of me ferrying the plane towards the combat area. My loadout is fairly straightforward. I've got 2 27 ERs, 2 27 ETs, and 4 R73s. This is my standard loadout on the Su-27, as well as what I will do is I will load up on chaff, adding approximately 150 units of chaff and cutting back on the flares, because in most cases the blue team pilots flying their F-18s and F-15s will very rarely get me with a Fox 2 missile. In most cases they'll just throw Armaments at me at a long distance, so that's what I need the extra chaff for. And if you are flying a Russian plane, and if you're flying in any fashion, I would say get extra chaff when flying against the Blue Force. The only plane that has been able to successfully take me out with a Fox 2 air-to-air missile is usually a Mirage 2000, and I've got a separate video for that coming up. So holding course, heading west. I've got one wingman with me. His name is Space, and he's also flying an SU, but he's flying an SU-33 just a bit behind me. We're in communication. At this point, I know that there is a set of bandits coming in from the west. I could see 4 high altitude targets. One of our friendlies was trying to RTB but had a bandit on his 6 o'clock. So we are gunning to try to get to our ally Vulcan and to provide some coverage for him. But unfortunately, he does not make it. And at this point, my RWR is going off. You can see that in the bottom right hand corner. And I am getting aggressive locks from my 12 and from 1 o'clock. Usually when that happens, and if I'm looking at the data link, I can make a decision that it's time to hit the weeds. I don't have sufficient speed for a high altitude air engagement, and the idea here was to see if I could actually use the little hills. We're not even talking the big mountains that a certain famous YouTuber, who shall not be named because he is awesome, do not step on snake, was flying and hunting Su-27s, and I've got these tiny little hills which provide very limited terrain masking. But let's see what I can do here, and let's see if I can punish these Hornets. They are coming in pretty quick. They've got speed. I did not know at this point that these were Hornets. Unfortunately, the Su-27 data link does not have the ability to distinguish between the type of an airborne enemy target. All you know is that there is a radar pointing at you from a certain direction, and that's all that the Berioza system gives you. That's the name of the RWR. Yeah, so I am doing a little bit of a notch here, trying to break away to the south before re-engaging and heading out to the north where the bandits are. Doing a little bit of banking maneuvers, and now at this point it's all about staying low. There are bandits crossing in front of me, but I'm don't want to tangle with those guys just yet. My mission is pretty simple and pretty straightforward. Not die. So I see one bandit that has been shot down in front of me, and at this point I know that I can pull away and disregard him. The other important thing is to continuously keep watching your RWR for information. It is truly your best friend, and will definitely help you out. So at this point, super low, super aggressive. I see bandits. They are coming in and out of the data link information, but I have their general bearing. I've got either EO BVR or EO vertical scan, and I'm going to stick to those modes here. At this point, I had no idea, but an F-15 passed pretty much over me, but I had no clue because he was flying nice and high. And then I turn on to a F-18 which had launched a missile at me. RWR is going off. I know there's a missile inbound. Chaff and a sharp turn. And then another sharp turn to re-engage the F-18. Can't let him get on my 6. And at this point, got him on vertical EO. And there we go. We go through him. Nice merge right there. Benefits of VR helmet is that you're able to track planes very aggressively and really see what's happening. So I start turning around and get back on his 6 to do my very best. That F-18 had lost a lot of speed. It's trying to flare. Tracking him. Fox 2 is ready. R73. Goes for the flares. Lucky F-18. Will survive it? Nope. Second R73 takes out the Hornet. One Hornet down. Right away checking the data link, and I see another plane coming in. And that plane is really close. Another launch. This is an ER Fox 1. Keeping the plane on radar. He tries to head east, but is splashed. Alright, splash 2. That's 2 Hornets down. 30 seconds apart. Gotta be quick. 1 BVR and, well, semi-BVR, and 1 right up the tailpipe. Dropping back down into the terrain, using that for masking. There's not much of it. And turning onto a target where I think there is another bandit coming in towards me. He's popping in and out on data link. He is close. Again, trying to pick him up and trying to lock him in vertical scan. So at this point I had no idea, but he actually merged and almost got onto my 6. Quick thinking, sharp turn. Not sure what happened here with the F-18. Looking at the data link, it looks like he missed me or lost my position, but I was a sitting duck here. And he definitely lost tally. Nothing on data link. It gives me no information. As soon as he appears, though, jam right into a turn and start going for him. Doing almost a full 180 and trying to get back onto that F-18. The F-18 is definitely making a run for it. First missile is out. And an ER as well. So that was one ET followed by an ER. As soon as the F-18 picks up the missile launch, he chafes and hits the side of the mountain. There's the ER flying right by him, and he's already hit the mountain. I don't know about you. I will consider that half a kill, or maybe 2/3 of a kill or a full kill, because it was my ER and my active radar lock that made the F-18 hit that side of the mountain. He wasn't looking. Bet you he was looking out his window to his 9 o'clock trying to spot me. But again, no time to think. Brand new target on data link. Another plane coming in. Guess what? It's another F-18 Hornet. If you're counting, I'm going to swap my fourth one here. Got lock. R73 out. Tracking nicely. And splash. It's all about making sure you fire missiles within their effective range. That's 4 F-18s in just a couple of minutes, and that's how it's done on an Su-27 air superiority fighter. And remember, in DCS world, you're actually flying the 1980s, early 90s version of the Su-27 without a lot of the avionics and upgrades. Not on an Su-30 or an Su-35. This is an old school, so this would be going probably against an F-18A of an early model. Maybe, I won't park it out against an A, but maybe one of the earlier ones, definitely. Nowhere close to the Vipers and the F-18s. But let's get back to the flight here. Keeping an eye on RWR, I am flying through the terrain here. At this point, I think I am down to 3,000 liters, just a little bit under that. I am at Joker, which means I've got enough fuel to get back with possibly one engagement. And on data link, I do pick up that I have multiple bandits coming in from the west, which is not a good situation to be in. At this point, you do not want to be chased out back to your home base with bandits on your 6. A couple of options here. I could stick to the valleys and try to sneak my way back, but checking on data link as well, I could see that there was no friendlies coming in from the east, which puts me into a really precarious situation and really gives me just one option, and that is to engage these bandits. Got one bandit fairly close. He's coming in from my 1 o'clock. Again, not sure what it is. You have no idea what kind of a plane it is. I'm just thinking maybe it's another Hornet, but that's pretty unlikely. Vectoring towards him. Just on the other side of these mountains, as per my data link, which does keep flipping in and out. But hoping to get a lock and figure out what this thing is. And perhaps push the bandit off of my 6. Or at least get one more kill. Still a pretty solid mission so far. The bandit comes off and on data link, so it's really hard to spot him. Trying both BVR and vertical scan, but I am fairly close here, so I should be able to tag him. Again, if a certain awesome YouTube pilot, Growling Sidewinder, was here in the F-18 that's passing right over me, if you look at data link, I probably would have been shot down, but I was lucky that for some reason this F-18 missed me. Go hard getting to a 180. I've got tally on something, but that something is the F-15 in front of me. I've got no joy on that F-18, which has now fallen behind. But the F-15 is a nice juicy target in front of me. I'm down to just over 1,000 liters. That's approximately 100 kilometers at cruising speed, or well, just below military speed. So if you're flying 80-90% on the Russian planes, you'll be able to get about 100 kilometers. I'm a solid 180 kilometers, so I really don't have a chance to get back to home base. But I do have this juicy target that's flying really low and has no idea I'm even there. And I've got one missile. Got to make it count. All about getting in range and just lining it up perfectly. A shot up the tailpipe of, well, up the twin tails of an F-15 Eagle is pretty sweet. However, if you are out of range, not very good. Close enough. He dropped down a little bit of altitude right below me. Fox 2 makes his connection. Boom. F-15 splashed and on the ground. Well, in the mountains and in the trees. So at this point, by having used Afterburner to pursue the F-15, I'm down to about 500 liters, and it's all about making the decision. What do you do? That's sort of the big question. What do you do, and do I have enough time to get back home? I do see a couple of friendlies pushing in and providing support via data link. But then comes the decision, can I make it back to base? Realistically, 500 liters at the altitude that I'm at would probably get me a range of 50 to 60 kilometers, leaving me 130 kilometers short. So the best option is to use the advanced technology, aka overbuilt landing gear and carriage of the Su-27. That's one of the benefits of Russian and Soviet plane design. The landing gear on them is extremely overbuilt, allowing them to pretty much use anything that's flat to land on. As long as there's not too much foreign debris, you should be able to make a landing fairly well almost anywhere. So flying, looking for a place to land. I'm hoping that over these mountains I'll find some clearings. Mountains are definitely not a good place to land. I've got enough fuel for a few minutes of decision making here. As long as there's no bandits that line up on my 6, that's the most important thing. I am getting RWR signals from my 12 o'clock and from my 6 o'clock, but it is fairly quiet. Somebody's pinging me from my 6 o'clock, but they're far away. You can tell that in the bottom right hand corner there, with one light pointing backwards and a little light underneath it on the very left side, showing that it is an aircraft. Alright, I gotta find a place to land. It's a little bit ridiculous. Let's see here. Maybe there's something over this hill. I just need a stretch of land. Just a chunk of something that has no trees and no power posts. Interesting phenomenon, just to let everybody know, if you are flying in DCS, if you ever try to land on a road, be very careful. A lot of the rural roads are going to have power poles right along the side, so you try to land on that road, and unfortunately you're going to be in trouble because your wings are going to clip the power lines or the actual power poles, and you are very much dead at that point. There we go, some fields and clearings coming up. Perfect. That's exactly what I need here. I just start cutting back my thrust. And again, using terrain for masking because there was some radar warnings from my 6 o'clock that someone was tracking me. There you go, coming in for final. Gear down, flaps down, brakes, and go in for a landing. I really hate those light posts next to me, otherwise I would have landed very nicely on that road, but beggars can be choosers. I've touched down and I'm rolling. There's only one problem. There's more light posts coming up. and this was just pure luck. I'll give myself 75% success on that landing. I lost one wheel at takeoff, and the landing wasn't the smoothest, but I did avoid those power lines. So based on that, there's your victory in an Su-27.